The 1,000 small choices and why your legacy lives in the moments that nobody can see. Your leadership legacy isn't built in the boardrooms or in big wins. It is built in parking lots, hallway conversations, and in those split-second decisions when nobody's watching. This episode explores why those small moments matter more than you think. Welcome to Legacy Lounge, the podcast where you'll discover how to lead with purpose and build a legacy that matters. So if you're ready to step into your full potential, show up authentically for yourself and others, and create a lasting impact on the world, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Hey there, and welcome back to the Legacy Lounge. I'm your host, Brin'na, and as we're in the still beginning of 2026, I have been thinking a ton about legacies, especially with what's going on in the world. There's a lot of questions that I have about how people feel when they go home, close their eyes, and sleep at the end of the day. It's not the big, flashy, put this in your LinkedIn type of legacy, but the real legacy, the one that is built in the moments when nobody's watching, when there is no audience, when it's just you and a choice that you get to make. I posted something this week that really resonated with my audience. And it's that your leadership legacy isn't built in the big moments. It is built in the 1,000 of small choices that nobody else sees. And honestly, I think we get this backwards majority of the time. Most of us think that legacy is about that big promotion or the big win or the company-wide recognition, but that's not what people remember about working with you at all. So I want to tell you about a split decision moment from my own past that taught me the impact that my legacy could have. And it's the same for you. The first moment is when I was rushing to a district meeting and I was already running late. As I'm speed walking through the hallway, I saw a team member that I knew was brand new to this building and team. And he was struggling, having a difficult conversation with a customer. And the customer was being pretty harsh. And I can see him getting visibly flustered in front of my eyes. And in that moment, I had two choices. I could keep walking to my very important meeting, or I could stop and help him out. And nobody would have blamed me for walking on by because nobody was watching. I chose to stop. I helped calm the situation down. I spent 5 minutes then coaching him productively after the situation was handled. And that was 3 years ago. And this team member still sends me messages about how he valued me stopping in the moment to not only provide support, but to give guidance on how to handle it on his own in the future. The second thing that I think about is when I was in back-to-back meetings all day long and I just wanted to get home. I was walking out and I saw someone sitting in her car and she was crying in the parking lot. And again, I had two choices. I could keep walking by, pretending not to see her, although she probably wished at moments that I wouldn't have. Or I could have made the choice to stop, tap on the window, and ask if she needs to talk about anything. What do you think I did? I stopped and I tapped on her window. Turns out, she also was very overwhelmed. She was feeling like she wasn't cut out for this new way of leadership. There was way too much on her plate. She would never be able to figure out how to do it. And we sat in the parking lot for only 20 minutes. But I shared some of my own struggles about current day stuff we were navigating and how I handled it when I was newer in role. And she later told me that that conversation kept her from quitting in the moment. She's now one of the strongest go-to leaders in that district. And she's a trainer for others. But this is why this is important. Your legacy is not built inside those boardroom meetings. It's built in the parking lots. It's built in the hallway conversations. It's built in the moments that you choose connection over convenience. The 1,000 small choices, that's your real legacy in the making. But here's what makes this tricky. In those moments, these choices never feel significant, because there is no immediate reward. There's nobody standing behind the wall that's going to pop out and start clapping for you and smothering you with recognition. There is no metric that is tracked for that. It's the times that you choose to care when you didn't have to. People remember that. They remember how you made them feel when they were struggling. They remember whether you chose to see them as a person or just as a position. They remember if you decided to choose integrity when it was inconvenient or not. I have been coaching leaders for years now, and I can always tell the difference between someone who understands this and someone who doesn't even understand the bigger picture. But the ones that get it, they're the ones that their teams will follow them anywhere. And the ones who don't wonder why their teams aren't engaged. So think about your own career for a second. Who are those leaders that you remember and why? Not the ones with the biggest titles or that are have the most impressive resumes. But I'm assuming you remember the ones who chose patience over frustration when you made a mistake, when they chose curiosity over judgment when you disagreed, when they chose to listen because you needed to be heard, and they chose integrity when nobody was watching. Those choices, that's legacy. And here's what's beautiful about this. You don't need a promotion or a bigger title or a bigger responsibility scope to start building that kind of leadership legacy today. You just need to pay attention to the small moments that are happening around you all day, every day. So here's a challenge for the week. Pay attention to one small choice every day. The moment when you have a choice to make and can choose connection over convenience, patience over productivity, and people over the process. Because here's the truth. Years from now, your team won't remember most of the meetings or your metrics, but they will remember how you made them feel in those small moments. That right there is your legacy, and that is what lasts. I encourage you to ask yourself, what do I want people to remember about working with me? Then make the small choice that builds that legacy every single day through every decision that you make. Until next time, I encourage you to choose connection in those small moments. And remember, I'm right here beside you. You can visit legacyfulfilled.com if you want to talk about building your leadership legacy and build it in a way that's worth leaving. I'm Brin'na, and I'll catch you on the next episode of The Legacy Lounge. That's it for this episode of Legacy Lounge, a podcast dedicated to empowering you to lead with purpose. Remember, leadership begins with you. When you're connected to your values, strengths, and authentic self, you show up powerfully for your team, businesses, and everyone you lead. To authentically lead others, you must first lead yourself. I challenge you to consider, how are you investing in your personal growth to create a legacy that you envision? Thank you for joining me in the Legacy Lounge. If this episode sparked any thoughts or inspired action, I'd love to hear from you. I'm your host, Brin'na Rollins-Williams. Connect with me on LinkedIn or other socials, and let's continue the conversation. Remember, your legacy is built one intentional step at a time.